Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 9 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Rocky Mount where a man is now being held at the Nash County Jail for fraud. On Wednesday, Rocky Mount police were called to First Carolina State Bank at 171 North Winstead Avenue for a possible bank robbery. When officers arrived, they determined that the incident was not a robbery, but rather a case of fraud, according to officials. Police say 39-year-old Joseph Andre of Baltimore, Maryland, went into the bank and presented a fake ID to a teller. He withdrew funds from the bank under false pretenses, and once the transaction was discovered to be fraudulent, he ran away. Now, officers tracked down Andre with a K9 across Sunset Avenue and then arrested him on Winstead Avenue. Andre has been charged with identity theft, obtaining property by false pretense, forgery, and possession of a fraudulent form of identification. He was issued a $25,000 secured bond and is currently being held at the Nash County Jail. And now we want to turn to the war in Ukraine, where U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has been meeting with the Kremlin and Vladimir Putin over the past several days. NBC's Keir Simmons has more on the potential for a ceasefire.
Hey there, good day to you. A top Kremlin aide says Presidents Trump and Putin may meet in the coming days with the location agreed in principle. He said the Russian government is, quote, quite positive about the option of holding the meeting as soon as next week. But crucially, he appeared dismissive of a U.S. suggestion of a trilateral meeting between Presidents Trump, Putin and Zelensky. A White House official had told NBC News Trump would want a meeting between Putin and Ukraine's leader to discuss a ceasefire. The idea emerged after Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with Putin in Moscow yesterday, days before President Trump's deadline for a ceasefire. President Trump, for his part, said yesterday that there is a very good prospect of a summit with Putin and Zelensky, adding his envoy had very good talks with Putin, but he would not call it a breakthrough, he said. The proposal caught European leaders and some White House officials by surprise. A meeting with President Trump would be a win for President Putin, who has not met with a U.S. leader since he invaded Ukraine in early 2022. Still, President Zelensky saying overnight the pressure on Russia is working, and adding today, Ukraine is not afraid of meetings and expects the same brave approach from the Russian side. Keir Simmons, NBC News, London.
Thank you very much, Keir, for that report. We now want to turn to your weather forecast, where again today we are cloudy and wet as that area of low pressure that brought us the rain yesterday and last night continues to inch its way closer to the Atlantic. It's a very slow and gradual process, as this is a very slow moving system. We knew that going into it, that this would again take several days to clear the coast. But of course, that also gives us several days of below average temperatures. Now here's a look at the current position of that low, pretty much right over eastern North Carolina. And again, by the time we get to, I would say 9 to 10 o'clock tonight, it should be moving over the Outer Banks and then off the Outer Banks as we head into your Friday morning. However, again, it stays fairly close to eastern North Carolina. Again, we will see a little bit more sunshine, possible, I should say, clearer skies coming up late Friday night into Saturday morning, only to see another frontal system try to push its way northward into the east as we head into Saturday. That will lead to increased cloudiness and a better opportunity for rain showers, particularly along the Crystal Coast. So if you're itching to get to the beach this coming weekend, I would say the northern Outer Banks is going to be your best bet. Now, is this going to be a great beach weekend? Well, probably not, but again, it's one that we're getting close to the start of school, and I know there's probably quite a few kids out there who are just itching to go play in the waves. Now, right now, we've got, again, some showers and really just light showers over the Triad, extending all the way towards the Triangle. It kind of wraps up around the I-95 corridor. Yeah, we have a few light showers around portions of Duplin, Wayne, and Lenoir counties, but not a lot there. Certainly seeing a little bit more of a spread of rain once you get along and west of I-95. Now that will change later on this afternoon. I do anticipate a better opportunity for more rain showers today coming in once we get to around lunchtime and lasting through most of the afternoon. Current air temperatures right now reading in the low to mid 70s throughout most of eastern North Carolina. A few of us still in the upper 60s, but again, today is going to be a cooler day than what we experienced yesterday, thanks to the rain showers and the cloud cover. Right now, over the past 24 hours, we're looking at about a 3 to 6 degree drop in air temperature, which again is quite nice because it also comes with a drop in humidity, almost by about the same margin, more of a 2 to 4 degree drop. But you know what? We will take it so long again as it keeps the humidity down. Right now, dew points upper 60s to low 70s. Once you get closer to the water, we're seeing a little bit of a higher dew point. Right now, we've got 74 degree dew point in Jacksonville, 75 in Beaufort, 73 in Hatteras. But again, that is pretty comfortable for this time of year. That is certainly not anything I'm going to be complaining about. Now for this afternoon, high is expected to get into the low 80s, but not going to stay there for very long. Again, as we see increasing rainfall, that's going to bring in, again, some of that cooler air. So air temperatures pretty much going to be staying in the low 80s, if not lower, for today, when normally we would anticipate air temperatures this time of year to more range in the low 90s and even into the upper 80s. Now, let's talk about the tropics. We've got our eyes on two areas of concern. One is that X that denotes the current area of low pressure in the cluster of thunderstorms. Now, the National Hurricane Center is giving that a 0% chance of tropical formation over the next 2 days. But once that system kind of just cruises by the Outer Banks, it's not going to make contact, but again, we will see it kind of scoot by and then get into that big yellow circle. That's where it has a 30% chance of tropical development over the next 7 days. Now, let's take our focus a little bit deeper into the Atlantic, where this system has a better chance of gaining a name. It is right now currently in the southern Atlantic, but expected to work its way up towards the northwest over the next few days, kind of heading towards Bermuda, which again, heading towards Bermuda, not too bad, just so long as it doesn't make a left turn. We want more of a right-hand turn. Over the next 7 days, National Hurricane Center giving it a medium chance, a 60% chance of tropical development. That's one we don't need to worry about at this point, but certainly one we're going to be keeping our eyes on. Now, over the next 8 days, again, air temperatures are going to gradually climb from around the low 80s today and tomorrow, and even on Saturday, into the mid 80s by Sunday, upper 80s by Monday, and then we're back to the low 90s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. We're not looking at any sort of heat wave. We're just essentially getting back to normal for next week. Not only are your daytime highs going to return to normal, we're also going to see your overnight lows return to normal as well. It was a nice break from the heat, but again, all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately, our cooler air and drier air will be doing just that once we get done with this weekend. Well, that's all we have time for today's 9 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday.
This hour of the WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by ENC Pirate Realty.